Halacha Shabbos. Halacha Shabbos is usually very intricate. There's a lot of detail on it. So we'll speak about one specific point in one of the malachas. And we'll try to clarify at least this case. So we'll speak about halacha malachas. We'll discuss the malacha of toifer and kareya. Toifer means to sow, and kareya means to tear apart the sowing that you did. The Mishnah says in the Chaim Gimel and Shabbos it lists the lamatas malachas, and among them is the malacha of toifer. The Mishnah says about toifer shtei tfiris. The person is toifer 2 stitches. That means not 2 stitches that we call them. If you stick the thread in and you pull back up on top, that's called shtei tfiris. And if you do that, you're over on Halacha Shabbos. The hakareya, if you kareya the almanaslet for shtei tfiris, if you tear it in order to re-sew it, you're also over on Malachas toifer. Now we know that the lamatas malachas, the mekar malachas, they're known from the Mishkan. The malachas that they did in the Mishkan, those are the malachas that are also on Shabbos as well. So where in the Mishkan was the malachas toifer and kareya? So the Gemara tells us that the Yiriyas HaMishkan, the curtains that they had, or the oil that they had over the Mishkan, if sometimes a worm would get into it, he would make a hole through the material. So then in order to fix it, they would have to tear it a little bit in order that it shouldn't, because it's round, you can't just sew a round thing, otherwise it would make a crease over there, so they had to tear it somewhat, and then re-sew it. So there was kareya al manaslet, where they poured in order to be toifer, and then there would be toifer back again. So that was done in the Mishkan, and if you do that, you're chayav for malachas toifer, and if you're kareya in order to be toifer, you're over on the malacha of kareya. Now the Gemara says, "V'hateifer shtei tfiris." The Gemara says, "V'holei kaimu." Gemara says, if you take a thread and you stick it into a material and you pull it back up on top, over time, because it's a pliable material, it's going to start coming loose and coming. So Rashi says it can't be a malacha. Something that comes out that doesn't have a kiyum can't be choshev a malacha in order to be mechayev you on Shabbos. So the Gemara says that in order to be chayev from malachas toifer, you also have to tie the ends. If you tie the ends, then it will get stuck on the material and then it won't come out. So Mil you'll be chayev on malachas toifer. So toifer means that you made 2 stitches and you tied the edges. The Rishonim speak about that one of the other malachas in addition is malachas kosher, where you tie. So every time you're toifer, you're also chayev mishum kosher. That's one of the questions that the Rishonim ask. Well, that's not our issue today. What I would like to discuss today is a case where a person realizes on Friday night, he puts on his suit, it's Shabbos already, and he sees that his cuff came down a little bit and it's hanging out. So he wants to take a pin and stick it through in order to hold up his cuff. Or another case, a person's button on his pants, let's say, came off and he wants to keep his pants up, so he wants to take a safety pin and put it in that place over there. Is there an issue of toifer if you're threading the material together with a safety pin, or is malachas toifer only with a thread like we had in the Mishnah? That's the question that I want to discuss. So, the Korban Nesanel is a pirush on the bottom of the Rosh. He was one of the early Achronim. He says that that the Gemara tells us that the only time you're chayiv mishum toifer is when you tie the 2 edges. That's only to be chayiv minat toifer, in order to be chayiv. But midrabanan, it's also to do 2 stitches, in other words, to stick them to the material and take it back out, even if you don't tie it. Doing that alone is enough. Nesanel says that's also midrabanan. And he says, ulekach, and therefore, Toma ani, amatmiya me'ayin noyeg in oilam shetich v'machvat emachat shekerim shtoknedel v'loshen Ashkenaz akraizim amalbush. He says, it's matmiya in the minhag oilam that they use pins in order to hold things together. And you're not tying anything when you use a pin, so you're not over the malacha de'iraisa. But akapanim should over midrabanan, because you're not doing, even though you're not doing a kshira, but you're making a stitch. You're doing it with a needle. You should also be over mishum toifer. That's a shayla that
would a safety pin be the Raisa?
Who?
A safety
so l'chayr come to chay. It's the light the Korban Nesanel. If you put in a safety pin, so then it will be kayama. L'chayr should be much muhammad the kashal. So l'gabe the cuff when you're putting in a straight pin, it's only a shayla with the l'gabe the safety pin. L'chayr it's a shayla malacha the Raisa. Light the Korban Nesanel should come out. There should be also to do. Now the Chazon Ish speaks out that even light the Korban Nesanel, this that the Gemara says that if you don't tie it, you're not even minat Torah. That's because when you have a thread which is very pliable, if you walk a little bit, it'll come out. The thread is going to easily come out, and it's not kayoma. But he says the pin is a strong material; it doesn't bend, doesn't come out so easily. So the Chazon Ish is mitzadeh that even if a straight pin should be more chomer than a thread, even if you don't tie it, a straight pin should be a shal v'derais.
The safety pin's not permanent.
It's permanent. Why not?
Because you put it in there, you plan on taking it out.
You're going to take it out. Oh, so that's a different.
And most people also plan on taking it out.
Right, that's true. But the case that we're talking about, the Einish Shel Kayama of the Gemara was talking about, that on its own it's not going to come out. That means if you put a thread in, over time it'll pull itself out. That's called Einish Shel Kayama. It's not lasting. Your case of Einish Shel Kayama is because I'm going to do something to make. If I put it there, technically glass. Let's say I have a cuff. I'm a really lazy person. I don't want to get to to the tailor who's going to fix it for me. I'm going to leave it there. I can leave it there for years. Right? It could stay. Technically, you could stay there for a long time. It doesn't matter at all. But you're saying the fact that I'm planning to take it out, that should be a kula. And the truth is that there is such a kula in the malacha of kosher. The Gemara says, kosher, if I tie a knot, everyone ties their shoelace on Shabbos. So if you make the first step of a shoelace, and then you take the bow and you make a bow over it, which is the way everyone ties their shoelaces, that's called a kesher. But because you're planning on opening it up, it's called a kesher she'ena shel kayoma, and it's mutter on Shabbos. So you're asking, you should have a similar kula, like Gabi Teifer. If I put it in my belt, I'm obviously going to open it up when I take it off. And similarly, most of the time with my cuff, I'll do the same thing. So you're saying we should be able to apply the kula of kosher to the kula of Teifer as well. That's what you're asking, right? Okay. So the emes is, the truth is, that you are mechaber to some Rishonim. There are Rishonim that the Dr. Bishop brings. Rabbeinu Yoel, his name was one of the Rishonim, but he also wants to apply the kula of kesher she'ena shel kayoma to tefira she'ena shel kayoma. If I'm planning on doing it, it should be mutter b'lamaisa lahalacha. The mechaber in Siman Shinram is mavur that we're not mekel on tefira when it's ena shel kayoma, only by shiur. And I'll bring you right. The mechaber speaks about a case. He says that Bismanayim, they used to have on the sleeves of their beged, they used to have a thread going into the sleeve, and it was wide, and then they would put it on, and then they would tug at it, and that would cause it to close up somewhat. That's what they would do. And the Mechaber says that that's also to do, because it's a tefirah. So all the poskim bring raya from this Mechaber that you see that even though at night, when they finished with their beged and wanted to take it off, they used to loosen it up again and then take it off. So even though the tefirah that they made in order to close it, they're going to undo later, so it's a tefirah she'ena shel kayoma, and still the Mechaber says that it's also. So they bring a raya from there that even though in kosher we say such a kula like you're saying, but in teifer we don't have such a kula. The Chay wouldn't be able to be makel. It is a machlekes Rishonim. The Darkei Moshe, who's the Ramah, he brings such shittas Rishonim. But the halacha we're machmer on a tefira she'ena shel kayoma. That's the day. So come the guys. The way we're saying now is you use a safety pin or a straight pin. Chazon Ish is saying it should be a shiloh of a malacha deiraisa, like the korban nesanel. That's what it should be. Now this korban nesanel, even though many people didn't hear the korban nesanel, it just appears on the rush, right? So where in halach is this brought down? So even though in Shulchan Aruch it's not brought down, not in the Torah, not Beiseisa, not Pach, Pisha, no Mogen Avram or Taz, no one shall know it down. But Rabbi Kiveger in Shulchan Aruch, he's mitzayin to look at the korban nesanel who's machmir on a pin, and he says that Huadin is a tshuva called Tshuva's Ginas V'Radim, which was an early Akron, who also said that a pin is a shaila of tefillah. So he's mitzayin. So Kiveger already on the Shulchan Aruch says that a person should be machmir, and he's claimed, Kiveger writes that the korban nesanel holds that it's also midrabanan to use a pin. Now the Achrayim speak out that the korban nesanel never really asked it. The korban nesanel said he's matmiya that l'chayre it should be asked, but he's matmiya on the minute why they were not able to use it. But he was matmiya that was the minute, and there were many gedolim in the time of the korban nesanel, and no one was meicha, no one stopped the tzibur from using it. So even though the korban nesanel was matmiya, he didn't ask it. Kivega seems to know that the korban nesanel should be asked. The Ginas V'Radim, who he's referring to, he does say that it's asked. Now the question is, the Ginas V'Radim is ma'ir. That where am I coming from? We know that normally when a person does tefirah, he takes a thread, and that's how you teifer something with a thread. And now I'm putting in a pin. Who says that there's such a thing called teifer when you're using a pin to make the tefirah? Maybe the only time in Sha'ar teifer is with a thread, like they did in the Mishkan, when they would fix the urea, they would use a thread in order to fix it. The Meichat takes it that a Machat should be also. So the Ginas V'Radim says, if you look in the Tshuva, he tells to a different Mechaber. The Mechaber is coming from a Rambam. The Mechaber is also in Siman Shin, at the end of Siman Shin Man. The Mechaber says, you say the Rambam, that Sif Yodalid, Hamedabek Nayoris. If a person glues together two pieces of paper, oiris or skins, the Koilon Shel Sefer, which is a type of glue, Ukiyetzeba, Hareza Toldas Teifer. So the Ginas V'Radim says, I see from the Rambam that in order to be chayav on teifer, it doesn't have to be exactly the way they did in the Mishkan with the thread in order to be teifer. But any time I attach two things together, in the case of the Mechaber is talking about where I use glue to attach together, that's also considered melechas teifer. So basically, anything that I use in order to mechaber two things together is nichol melechas teifer. So he says, just like the Rambam says that if you use glue, you're over on melechas teifer. So if you use a pin, you're going to be over melechas teifer also. That's what the Ginas V'Radim titled. This is the Ginas V'Radim in Tshuva Sefer Siman Yud Zayin. In Siman Yud Ches, the shoyl, the one that asked the shayla to the Ginas V'Radim, he wants to argue on the Ginas V'Radim, and he says that it's true that if you glue papers together, you're over melechas teifer, and it's true that if you sew with a thread clothing, you're over melechas teifer. But he says, are you going to tell me that if a person takes his pants, he has a problem with his cuff, and he puts glue over there and he glues the pants together, are you going to tell me that's a tolda of teifer? He says, it's not the way you attach clothing together. No one uses glue to attach their clothing together. So when I want to attach two papers together, I don't use a thread. I use glue. When I want to sew my pants, I use a thread. So just because the Ginas V'Radim had a Rambam that says that using glue is a tolda of teifer, that's because it was being teifer in the derech of how you teifer those materials. Paper you're teifer with glue, and clothing you're teifer with a chut.
With the shima, it would still be a strap-on?
So the Shah wanted to say that because it's such a shit, you find sometimes in Beit Mar brings things that are such a big shinui, they're not even asking Rabban either.
Really?
He says, yeah, you find a Zalach Hazak, when you're in the middle of the Lilas, there's different like found of shinuyim, which is such a shinui gadol. That's what the Shah wants to say. That will be mutter. Such a shinui gadol.
Pins in the shape of that.
There's what?
Pins in the shape of that.
So what are you attaching?
The head to the head.
The shaitel to the head. Oh, here. I'd say that would be the derech also. That's not what they have to do. Here, we're going to try to think about it. So now, the question is, so the Shah wanted to tell you that because not the derech, it's going to be mutter legamri. And the Gnitz Brodim in Siman Yud Tes, he responds back to the Shah and he says that I agree with you that if a person glues his pants, he's not a Malachas Teifer, because it's not a Maiset Fira at all, not the way he does his pants. But a Machad, because some people do put pins into clothing, we're not enough Balabatim to be able to decide whether this is considered the derech or not the derech. And whether we can on our own say that it's social like a derech, that's going to be mutter. And Melech Gnitz Brodim passes the halacha that it's usher to use a pin, like the Kabbalah Salman. When he's shy, he says it's a shy even of Easter Day rice. That's what he says. Now, I went to a shiur from Rabbi Felder many years ago. He wanted to say that the Shulchan Aruch Harav holds like this as well, that using pins for tefillah isn't Malachas Teifer. I looked through the Shulchan Aruch Harav and I searched on my computer also. I couldn't find where the Shulchan Aruch Harav is, so I'm just telling you that's what he said. Shulchan Aruch Harav is one of the big Pesach's manet.
Putting it through the actual clothing, or it's
attaching. Right, it's attaching.
So if I put it through let's say a hole, right, like an actual
right,
a hole.
Right.
No, I'll do that.
That you could. Right, that
You
one you
could?
Yeah.
You can't.
If you have, let's say, a buttonhole,
Right.
you just stick it through. If you do only one kifa, you put it only in one time. It's not going in and out. Then it's mutter. It's only a problem if you go in and out.
Attaches something.
Same thing. If you attach them, as long as you don't go in and out in the material, then you're okay.
Right. Well, why would anyone want to do that? Just to make it sit there.
You go in, right. No, right.
Gotcha.
That's what it compliments with.
No.
Putting it through the hole and putting it together.
That's what we take for all sure. Okay, we're going to speak about, we'll see about Shabbat, we'll see what else, maybe why coffee is not a problem either. Now, there's a sefer called Yalkut Me'am Loyes, which was written around 330 years ago. And this Yalkut Me'am Loyes, his matorah in the sefer was to try to teach the Hamayinam what the halachas were. And he's married in different case scenarios that people used to do to another, and he said what the halacha was. And Tosh Dvarov, the Me'am Loyes, writes over there, V'chein elu ha'mechaber me'achor shnei kanfei ha'parave shal yafiu be'isuk shebebayis. The women or the people that were trying to work in their houses, maybe wash the floors and things, so they want to pin up the bottom of their clothing so that it shouldn't get wet, or it shouldn't if they were sweeping, it shouldn't get dust on it. So they used to pin it up with a pin. He says, Yedu, they should know shegam ze ovli. They're doing an aver by doing that. He says, Afal pisha the Gemara Yisukim hem etziyam asicha. He's bavaring your thing. Even though when they finish working, they take it out. He says, Afal pika, and even at tefira she'en shel kayom, he says, Ein hevdol ben shel kayom le'en shel kayom, only by kshira, not by tefira, only by malachas kosher, not by malachas tevis. And he says, it's an of. They should know that they're being over and aver. Whoever pins their things up are being over and aver. This is man like.
Can I put it in before Shabbos and take it out on Shabbos?
That may be kareya. If the opposite of tefer is kareya, so if it's considered sewn together and then taken apart, it would be considered kareya. Then it would be a problem. Now, there's a sefer Ben Ishchai, who's one of the Srarish Achronim. He says also, he learns la halacha, la kula, like you were saying, like the documentation means that it's tefillah shel kayam is mutter, and therefore he says that you could put in a pin, but he said that you should be machmir, like the machmirim that hold that tefillah shel kayam is also. So I just want to bring out from that Ben Ishchai that he also agrees that using a pin is considered a ma'aseh tefillah. He's saying la halacha, you could be mekel because of his shini, you could be mekel, but this that we're handling, could be considered a machat, a ma'aseh tefillah or not, the Ben Ishchai also learns that it's considered a ma'aseh tefillah. Now, the Chazon Ish, he says he doesn't understand. He says that it's pashut when a person puts a pin to hold two things together. He says it's like a button. It's like it's muchach that you're just trying to hold something together. You're not trying to make it into a bag. You're not trying to be toifer it together. You just want to hold it in its place. He says that like also and Odomei earlier. He says that the korban asam is a davar tamur. That he says that a pin is considered tefillah. He says it's a davar tamur amoy. He says unless you're planning on leaving it there for a long term, if you're leaving it there for a very long time, let's say a person has a cuff and he has a very small safety pin, he's going to stick it in there and he's going to leave it there, but no, you can't notice it at all, that the Chazon Ish said that will be a problem of tefillah. But when something is nikr mitzaratzma, that it's not there to make the thing into one thing, it's not considered a ma'aseh tefillah. That's what the Chazon Ish says. And the truth is that the Chazon Ish has come out on the Furish of the Mechaber, because that Mechaber that spoke about the sleeves that the women used to, or the men on Shabbos used to tighten that chut in their sleeve in order to make it fit them better. They would tighten it. So the Mechaber writes over there that if it has holes like people have in their shoes, you'll see. Look at your shoelaces, or has laces in their shoes. You'll see that around the place of the shoelace there's like a little round thing, where it's the hole is stitched around it in order for the thread to be able to come in and out. So when you do when people are tight for a beged, you don't have any of that. You stick the thread in and out, and that's it. That's a regular ma'aseh tefillah. But in your shoes, where you're planning on opening and closing them, you need that it should be able to slide in and out very easily. So they have pre-made holes that are sewn, each of those holes are sewn together, so then it's muchach, that it's not made to make a tefillah that's going to last. You're not trying to make this thing into one. You're not trying to put it together. You just want to be able to take it in and out. That's going to be mutter. So the Mechaber says, those people that are mahadik, which means they close up the sleeve of their beged, with a thread that they pull on it and it causes it to contract over their hand. It's also to do that. If it's mesukin, if they're threaded around, those holes are threaded around, then it's mesukin, then it's muchar, they're not trying to make a nice tefillah, and Mamela it's going to be mutter, but the Mishnah Berurah says it's only mutter if you're doing it for a short period of time. If you're planning on leaving it like that, then you are making it into one, then it's going to be awesome. So come to the halacha, like the Chazon Ish holds that if you're planning on taking it out, if it's something that it's a derech to put in and take out, then he says a pin normally mitzaratzu is muchach that you're going to take it out, so it wouldn't have to be a problem of tefer. Mashenken, if it will be something, let's say a very small safety pin, the chutshoni, the Brisson Karel, he's a nephew of the Chazon Ish, and he's medag from the Chazon Ish, that even the Chazon Ish is only makel on something that's a derech to put in only for a short amount of time, and then you take it out, then, and a pin is takamuchach, that's usually how people do it, then it's mutter. But if it's something that you're going to leave for a long time, then it's going to be awesome. So come to Chayes that we have a whole list of Gedolei Achronim that are saying that a machat is a shaila of tefillah. We're saying that you have the ginas v'rodim, you have the korban asamo. Kiveger brings them. Maybe Kiveger we could count if he brings them. Kiveger goes like that also. The Ben Ish Chai, the Shulchan Aruch Harav, the Me'am Loyas, they're all saying that a machat has a shem tefillah. A machat is a tefillah. And the Chazon Ish is saying that a machat, if it's muchach, that it's only there for a short period of time, it's mutter. But if you leave it there long term, then it's going to be awesome.
Maybe some of the Chazon Ish is how long it's going to be there, or
that's
if it's
muchach.
meant to attach to pieces of clothing. If you have a shirt that needs to be closed, you use a pin to close it, you don't need to attach this side to that side.
Not making it
It
into
acts
one.
as a button.
Right.
It's meant, but if you hem a cuff with a pin, you need to attach the two pieces of material together.
You want to hold it up. It would be similar to a button, could be.
You would love it to be sewn. You don't have needle and thread right now.
That's true. So
you do
because of
want
that, you're not sewing. You want maybe that's what you're talking about.
tefillah. You do the tefillah with the machat, but it's a full tefillah.
I can
Closing a button, or like the case of the man lawyers, that's not. You don't want to stitch together the clothing in that shape. You're just doing it now when you're sweeping.
hold it up.
But that's not an act of sewing. But if you do a cuff, it's not, I don't think
cuff.
that's just lotion. But
Okay, so that's what Chazon is saying that the etzem of pin is muchach, that it's like a double mesukah to take out. It's not like those buttonholes that you could leave it there long term if you have such a thing, but because it's mesukah in a way, it's just
you just curl it on the somebody's passing their yoyo. That's what he needs to do.
no, that's finish up. No, because muchach.
Difference.
No,
That's not shokayom.
the Chazon also, yeah, the Chazon also machmir. He tells to the Chazon Ish tells to that kind of the Mechaber that if it's mesukim, if the holes are mesukim, then it's muchach, that it's not a tefillah, then it'll be mutter. That's where he's coming from. So Ramesha has a tshuva on this, and he wants to go and argue on the whole premise that it's b'chlal shaykh to have tefillah with a pin. And he says that we know that is in Halacha Shabbos there's a malacha of kosher when you tie things to two things together, and there's a malacha of tofer when you sew two things together. So he says, what's the difference? One are you over on kosher, one are you over on tofer. One is it called that you're tying things together, and one is it called that you're sewing it together. So Moshe says the difference between kosher and sefer is that kosher means that I want to take two things and I want them to be tied together. They're two separate entities that are tied. He says tefillah, the malach of tefillah is when I want to make two things into one. When I take a suit, I take the sleeve of the suit and I sew it onto the rest of the jacket. I'm creating, or I take that hole in the urea and I sew it together. I'm trying to make out of two things one. I want it to become really the side of tefillah is to be tied two things together to make it into one thing. He says, Mashenk and kosher is to take two independent things and to tie it together. That's a chiluk. So he says that a pin does not accomplish the taitzah of making two things into one. A pin keeps two things two, and it just holds them together. He says, Mashenk, so that would be more doimer to malacha of kosher than to malacha of tefer. And he says, it's not shaykh to be over malachas tefer with a pin. And the tshuva, the Tzitz Eliezer, he brings from the Das Kadoshim. He would say he has a sefer called Eshel Avram, and he was talking about over there about they had to make big day tachrichim on Shabbos or Yom Tov over there, and he said that you should use pins, and he explains because the pins don't make the two things into one, there's no malachas tefer that way. So Moshe's Sfar was already in Nisker a couple of years before him. The Gabi list that something that doesn't make two things into one is not called malachas tefer.
Why doesn't it make it two into one?
Why doesn't it?
Stay the front.
Right, but it doesn't make you don't see it as one, you see it attached with the pin. Then when I sew a jacket to the thing, we don't call this a sleeve and a jacket, it's one thing. It becomes it becomes one. With the rachas, nicker, it's two different things. So Mela, it's not going to be considered taifer. And that's why most poskim hold that a staple has a din of tefillah. When you staple something with staple papers together, it has a din of tefillah, because that's the derech how you attach a bunch of papers together. But Moshe says in one of the chayveres in the Kavitz of Teifer, he says a staple has no shaykhs to taifer. And the reason is because the staple doesn't make two things into one. It doesn't make it into one. It attaches it, it holds them together, but it doesn't make it one. And anything that doesn't make it one is not malachas teifer at all. Then Ramesha says, you have to you could say nachasvara, and he says that the Rambam says that if a person takes a whole bunch of threads and he spools them together and he makes a rope out of it, he makes a thicker thread out of it, the Rambam said he's chayav mishum koisha. You're chayav for it because you're being koisha the things together. So Ramesha says, l'chayra, over there I'm making all the threads into one rope. So l'chayra, like my yisayid, that when you make two things into one, you're making it into your Eiver Malachas Teifer, so why does the Rambam call it Malachas Kosher? So Rashi goes a step weiter and he says that the only time you're Eiver Malachas Teifer is when in order to take apart the tefillah, you have to tear it. In other words, the way you know whether or not something is considered that they were sewn together is only if you have to tear it in order to take it apart. But if you spin thread together, the way you undo it is you unspin it, you turn it the other way, and they come apart. You don't have to tear anything apart. Anything that doesn't need to be torn apart is not considered that it was sewn together. That's what you said there, Ramesh says.
Why would it be tefillah?
Why would it be?
Yeah, it's also, that's exactly what it is by tefillah, no?
When they're taking, they're attaching two things.
They spun, right, one of the malachas.
Right. Oh, why wasn't that one of them? It's not called tefillah. They call it something else. I don't know. Good job. I don't know why. There should be a new malacha. In Nichol and Teifer, it's not Nichol and Teifer. And then it says that this svar is also niska earlier in the Aruch HaShulchan. There's a Rav before Moshe and Rashi over there. He writes over there. He has the same question. He says in Tisha, Im ken kosher v'teifer achas. What's the difference between kshira and tefillah? And he says eineke. The chibur the kasher roi lahatira v'lahashiva lekademusa. The kosher you untie it and you bring it back to square one like it was before. He says mashenken v'teifer umedabek when you sew or you glue things together. Keshiyirtze lahashiva lekademusam behechel lekalklum lekreya zemizah. You have to tear it apart, and that's the detail. How you know whether I'm doing teifer or kosher is if I have to tear it apart, then it's considered teifer. If not, it's considered kosher. So Moshe is saying two svaras. One svar is that tefillah means making two things into one, and kosher means attaching two things. That's one svara. Tefillah is only when you make it into one, and the other svara is saying that they have to tear it apart in order to take it apart. That's considered that it was tofur, and if not, not. Now, I was wondering that by a shidduch, we always tell people we wish them that they should be zeicha to make to have a kesher shel kayama. Kesher shel kayama means that they should be a kesher. Rav Moshe is saying that the difference between kshira and tefillah is that tefillah makes two things into one, and kesher is two things that are attached together. So shouldn't we wish the couple that they should be zeicha to make a tefillah shel kayama? We want them to become one. You see that you have to know I don't know those in shidduch or not, but if you are, you have to know exactly what you need to be. Both like ice cream to get the same flavor. After that's what the shidduch has to be about. You don't have to be tofu. You don't have to become one. You have to be kosher together. That's the idea. Now, the Shevet HaLevi is ma'ir that Ramesh is saying that in order to be considered tofu, you have to tear it apart. You have to need to tear it apart. So the Shevet HaLevi asks that even with a thread, if a person puts the thread in and takes it back out, all you have to do is grab the thread on the other side and pluck it right out. It's not such a big deal, but you don't have to be kareh in order to take it apart. So how can Ramesh say you have to be kareh? So the truth is, Moshe, he bavarns the shayla also, and he says that when something is covered together, even if you pull out the thread, it's nikra b'fi kol kareh. People call it that you tore it apart, even though you didn't have to do a ma'aseh kriya, but it's nikra. It's called a ma'aseh kriya. Yeah, that's enough. That's a gnash of that shayla. Now, the Machzor Eliyahu is a halacha say written by Rav Pesach Eliyahu Falk from Manchester or London, somewhere on that side of the world. And he says that he has a raya knowledge with Moshe. Moshe is saying that in order, and the Aruch HaShulchan, they're both saying that in order to consider teifer, you need to have to tear it apart in order to be able to take them apart. You have to tear it. So he says that the Magen Avram says that if a person was making a sefer and some shayva, some wax dripped on the sefer and caused the pages to become attached together with the wax, so the Magen Avram says that if it happened by mistake and it's only there for a very short period of time, then he says svaras why you should be able to be making, the Magen Avram says. Fragt Rabbi Falk, you don't need svaras. Shayva wax is a soft material. All you have to do is take it apart, peel it apart, and you won't have to tear anything. If teifer and kareh is totally in tearing it, if teifer is only where you need to tear it, so the chayre was never tofer over here because you don't have to tear it. As I found the Machzor Eliyahu. So Maisa, you could argue depends on what type of wax. There was a concept called Shayva Shel Seifrim. The Seifrim used to use a stronger type of wax. really, I don't know if I would be mamcha Ramesh's Sfar from a Magen Avraham. That much cover we have to give Ramesh that he probably knew the Magen Avraham. They held that there's no raya from the Magen Avraham. Not like him, that's how we could be mamcha. Could be mamcha the Shaila. Now, Ramesh writes that even the Korban Asanel who's machmer on the pin, he says it can't be, the ikar neither that the person were busy with was Bismaneim, the way they used to diaper the babies were they had a cloth. They didn't have the disposable diapers that we have today. They had a cloth and they took two safety pins and they put it on the two diapers of the baby, and that's how they attach an to the gid. So one of the big shilas that were Omer al Perak was this shilah, whether or not you're allowed to use pins on Shabbos. So he says, even the Korban Asanel is moided that type of pin that you put on for the diapering the baby, that's Zichra Motor, Ramesh says. The Korban Asanel only meant to answer a type of machad which looks like it's replacing a chut. If you put it, let's say, in a cup, and you just stick it in the cup a little bit, and it looks like it's the makom achut, it looks like it's taking the place of a thread, that's what the Korban Asanel wanted to be
You
machad.
do it one time, no? By diaper, you only do it one time, not two times. You're allowed to do two
It
times
goes
by diaper.
in, and then back out, right, in order to put it back in.
Just two diapers, you'll put both sides and just pin it. You don't have to go, you have to do it.
You have to, right, so if you do that, then it's better, if you do that, you do it all through Anachanami.
You're allowed to do it two times by diaper also?
Only one, you're only allowed to put it through once. If you put it in a second time, then it's also. You only do it once.
Two different pieces of material is already called
Yeah.
two spheres.
It's
You're
going-
attaching to no?
How do you do it? You put it through one side,
I was trying to connect two pieces of material, so you're running through both pieces.
one kiffer though. It's only going through once,
Right, but
through the whole thing. It's coming back
making
out.
two things
It's going
stick
in,
together
coming
with
back
one
out on the other side.
theoretical shape too.
Right. Okay. Yesh love, after that. Right, so that's what Ramesh wants to do.
Why is it worth by the diaper?
Why, so he says because by the diaper it's muchach that you're just using it like a button to hold two things together. You're not trying to make it into one. It has to come apart in order to
Which
change
means
the
everything you're making it into one.
Who?
Everything you're not making into one.
With a machine.
Why is it
Right.
thicker if you put it through
He said, is there anything that looks like it's replacing a thread?
Yeah, but how's that looking? I'm saying,
Who?
how is this looking? How is this not looking? I don't understand.
Because when you put it, when you take the diaper that you put it on two sides of the baby and sticking the thing in, it doesn't look like you're trying to thread the thing
Of
together.
course you are.
Here. No, you're trying to hold it together, but you're not trying to thread it together. It doesn't look
This
like
also
it's
you're trying to hold it together.
no, but in your cup, when you put a straight pin through a cup, that might as well, if it wouldn't be a silver color, it would be a color of material. It would look like a piece of, it would look like a chut that you're putting into the cup. He says that's where the Korban Asanel wants to help. That looks like it's replacing a chut. That's what Rishon saying. He wants to say who didn't. Rabbi Kiva was also only machmer in such a case. That's what he wants to say. Well, the Maisa in Rabbi Kiva's son-in-law wrote a sefer called Rechash Levo, and in that sefer he wrote the Hagdama different anhagas of Rabbi Kiva. And in those anhagas he brings over there, the Kiva was machmer that when he used to bring a baby for a milah, he was machmer not to open up the pins. The Kiva was machmer not to open up the pins. So this is the Rebbe is trying to say that Kiva and the Korban Asanel would be masking, and it's not a problem. It's mefurish in the son-in-law of Doma that Rebbe Kiva was machmer. So the question is, was Rebbe Kiva being a machmer, or did he have to be machmer? What was Rebbe Kiva was being a chazid? So I heard from Rabbi Felder. Rabbi Felder wanted to say that Avad Rebbe Kiva held that it's also medina, and that's why he didn't do it. And the reason why he wasn't Meichel, Maisa, he should have told the people, you're not allowed to do this. Why wasn't he Meichel? So he says because Maisa, the Korban Asanel was made that the Minigaylim was the Hakol, so he wasn't Meichel connected to the big Minigaylim. But Avad Rebbe Kiva himself held that pins are awesome. That's what Rabbi Felder wants.
His kids in diaper.
Right. Not with pins. I don't know what he does. Well, Maisa, if you look at that, so I looked up there Rechash Levo. The Tzitz Eliel is one of the signs this sefer Rechash Levo. I looked it up over there, and he speaks over there. The halacha is by kesher. When you make a kesher, if you make a bow doesn't have a din of a kesher. Only if you put the laces inside one another, that's considered a kesher. But just to make a bow is not considered a kesher. And niva is the first one is not considered a kesher. So it says in that sefer Rechash Levo, it says. Nizar Hoyo, he's talking about his father-in-law, my shver was Nizar. Gam me'aniva b'Shabbos Kodesh. You wouldn't even make a bow on Shabbos, which is mutter l'choladeis. There's a Tana Rabbi Yehuda was machmer, but no one passing the halacha like Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Kiva was machmer not to do it. And he said that the psilim of his pants used to hang down. He never used to, I guess that's how they used to tie up their pants. His psilim on Shabbos, he was machmer even not to make an aniva, they were hanging down. And then he says after that he was also machmer, but he says, those threads from his pants used to be mishulashim la'aretz leheitzi machat and also leheitzi machat atachol b'sifsei akar hamuv v'mayelav l'mayler b'Shabbos. So when he's speaking about the chasidus of Rebbe Kiva, he's trying to say he was machmer on aniva, he was machmer on the salsa. So there would be no riot from this Rechash Levo that Rebbe Kiva meant to be machmer because you see he was machmer on aniva and aniva l'kuli almas motor. So he just choshev for the Tana Rebbe Yehuda, whatever is the chumas of Rebbe Kiva. So then he was machmer, but about there would be no riot from there. Now the Shabbos, what's the shita of the Mishnah Berurah? What's the halacha l'maisa? No clock around here? Oh, okay. Right. Well, I did 16 more seconds. That's why I call it Halacha L'maisa. Yeah? What happened on Mincha? Right. So the Mishmur brings down the Halacha of this Korban Nesanel. He says, so the Korban Nesanel writes, Mishmur brings the Korban Nesanel and says you're not supposed to use a pen. So the Shevet HaLevi, when he's coming to say, Shmuel Loz, when he comes to Halacha L'maisa, he says, the Mishmur is Machmer, the Korban Nesanel is Machmer, the Kiveger was Machmer, so Mele you have to be Machmer. So we spoke out that Kiveger is not such a raya that he was Machmer, it just could be he was Machmer La'atzma, he was only Machmer. And so he has the Korban Nesanel, and once the Mishmur is Machmer, the Mishmur brings the Korban Nesanel. But if you look, in the Emes Yaakov, from Yaakov Kamenetsky, he says that Klal Godel Mishmur, whenever you know Mishmur, it's kedai to know this Klal. He says that whenever the Mishmur says the halacha and he brings the Man Yomer who says the din, he quotes the Man Yomer who says it, like in this case, when he brings the din, not to the din on Shabbos, and he quotes the Korban Nesanel, it's because the Mishmur himself didn't want to be Soisim Mazel Ladina, because he himself wasn't so passionate by him that it's Taka also. He just brought it b'shem the Man Yomer that said it, but he himself didn't want to hold like that. So he said that's a Kal Mishmur, and his example is our Mishmur where he brings the Gabi Pins, and he says that you have to be Mach. The Emes is, if you look in Siman Shemches, in Hilchas Muksa, there's a halacha that a kli shemalachta l'isser, a kli that's used for isser, you're not allowed to be metalta. It's muksa, you're not allowed to be metalta on Shabbos. Except, let's say, if you need to use it for something, let's say a person has a nut, and he can't break open the nut, so a hammer is a kli shemalachta l'isser, it's normally used for building, but so it's muksa, you're not allowed to use it, except, let's say, if you need a hammer for it, you could use it, and you're allowed to break open a nut with a hammer. Let's say, it's muksa. So the Mishmur says that if a person needs a pin on Shabbos, litchay by begadim, to be there with begadim, he's allowed to use it because he's allowed to use it the tzarech gufa. He's using it even though it's normally a pin is used for a malacha, the ha'asura, for tefira. But he says if a person doesn't have something else, he could be used the pin also. So what the Mishmur is, he says, Mishmur writes, the version is, he says. You're allowed to use the Torah for Mekayim. Who hadn't shemuter lichtchayv bas hamalbushim lechabron be'esad chak. They had to use it to be mechabron malbush be'esad chak. So Mishmur in Siman Shin brings down Korban Nesanel, but in Siman Shin Ches he says that if you have a klishmat lista or you have a pin, you'd be allowed to use it in order to be mechabron malbushim b'shasad chak. So 1 second, so maybe Mishmur attack wasn't so sure, and he really means that you should be machmer l'katchilah, but only b'shasad chak it could be made. That's what you could say. But the emes is, if you learn Siman Shin Ches, you'll see that Mishmur's shita is that you're not allowed to use a kli. If I have a nut that I want to open, and I can do it with a hammer, or I can do it with something else, which is mutter, this heter that you're allowed to use a kli after the isser, the tzarech gufa, you're allowed to use a hammer when you need it, is only when you don't have another way to do it. That's when he's mad. That's when he's mad. B'shas adchak, you don't have another way. So now come to Chayz that even the Mishmuru who says it's only mutter b'shas adchak, it's not mehilchas tvira that he's machmer, he's machmer mehilchas muktzah. So come to Chayz the halacha that we start off with a whole bunch of shittas that say you should be machmer. We said the Guinness Vrodim and the Korban Nesanel and the Kiveger and the Me'am lawyers and the Ben Ishchai and the Maisa. We're saying that the Kiveger is not supposed to be like that. The Mishmur passes the rule that it's mutter. The Moshe holds it's mutter. The Aruch HaShulchan holds it's mutter. The Maisa have a whole list of Derech that it's mutter. So Halacha L'Maisa, if the person needs to use the pen on Shabbos, the minute earlier, as far as I know, is that we do use the pen on Shabbos and it will be mutter.